I can't believe I had to put my Q&A video on pause just to talk about this stuff. And also sorry for the poor quality, I had to rush this out really quickly because of this whole thing, so let's just get into it. It looks like Death Sisters has got themselves into some hot water yet again. And this time it involves around cream soda cookie. For those who are in the dark, there was a Korean live stream talking about the costumes that were planning to be added in Cookie Run Tower Adventures. Some of them look really cool. And then they showed this for cream soda. My reaction when I saw this was, oh cool, cream soda's getting another costume, and fell back asleep because it was early in the morning. But when I woke up later that day with a more clear mind, you know what this reminds me of? It reminded me of the rabbit hole Miku. And that was a problem. But you know what else was brought up? The whole age discourse revolving around cream soda. And I do want to talk about it, so let's get into it. I'm gonna be 100% honest here. I think cream soda is a young adult. Before you guys decide to chop my head off, let me explain. But first, let's define the word academy, because I've been seeing a lot of misinformation about this. The word academy is a place of study or training in a special field. Academy is a pretty broad term. It can be used to describe any education level, from elementary school up to college. So I do want to clarify that because a lot of people think to be an academy you must be in a certain age range. That's false information. I mean, have you ever heard of the term police academy? I'm just using it as an example. Now let's get into the meat of this whole thing. I have mentioned this before, but in TOA, there is no evidence that really supports the idea that cream soda is a minor. In fact, there are some things that contradict it. One of which was being able to go to the Wild West area completely unsupervised. If that was a high school, I highly doubt they would have allowed her to do that in the first place. Let alone sending one of their students completely by themselves in a dangerous situation. Even cream soda acknowledges that there are some dangers that have been happening in the tower. That was all to it. And then everything got fucked over because of this old man. And despite Peppercino's word, there's still evidence that proves that cream soda could potentially be an adult. Okay, let me explain. But first, let's talk about Peppercino's word. My question I want to propose is, was this meant to be in a literal or figurative way? Keep in mind, Peppercino Cookie is old. Like, bro has a son. He must be at least around his 40s. Not to mention how Peppercino and cream soda don't really know each other. How would Peppercino know cream soda's age? It doesn't really add up. So which is it? A, literally, B, figuratively, or C, accidentally? I'll do you a favor and take out C. I highly doubt this was actually meant to be an accident on Peppercino's end, because, well, I highly doubt the writing would make him like that. So is it A or B? A doesn't really make a lot of sense because, again, cream soda and Peppercino Cookie don't know each other. How would he know that information? Could it be B? Possibly. Peppercino is older than cream soda by a long shot. Again, he has a son. So it could be him speaking as a proud parent to someone who's far younger than him. However, there's still doubts in my mind because of the way he phrased it. We are proud as adults. That doesn't make much sense, and also it comes out of nowhere. In fact, I decided to take the translation that was in Korea and put it to a translator, and it's actually different. Because instead of the word we, in referring to raspberry mousse and Peppercino Cookie, it's now referred to as I, only Peppercino Cookie. So could this be a translation error? Maybe, but we'll come back to this later. I will say, a lot of people like to use this as evidence to say that cream soda is a minor, instead of looking at the bigger picture here. It's basically the equivalent of saying Milky Way is an adult because of Last Cookie Standing. If you only focus on one detail and use that as your claim while ignoring everything else, chances are you might get something wrong, and potentially spread more misinformation. Also, in case you're wondering, Milky Way is like 1,000 years old, mentally a teenager, and looks like a child. So let's talk about the bar scene, because I actually got something wrong with this. Sparkling does serve minors. He served Firecracker Cookie when Firecracker Cookie asked for some simple lemonade. And cream soda is an alcoholic. In case you're wondering what it's made of, it consists of carbonated water or club soda, flavored syrup, ice cream or cream, and the cherry on top. I can see an argument with the syrup possibly being alcohol flavor, but there is no proof for that, so let's get back to it. Also, one thing I find kind of interesting that really doesn't change anything is that apparently Cream Soda and Cherry Cola both have jobs. When Cream Soda and Cherry Cola went to the bar, Cherry Cola mentioned something about getting a drink and also telling Sparkling to get one for himself and it's on her, meaning she's paying for Sparkling's drink. I thought I might as well mention it since I'm not sure if this information can be useful in dictating their age. So now you're probably asking, if the bar scene isn't proof that Cream Soda is an adult, what made you think she is? The flashback scene between Cream Soda and Cherry Cola in the first part of the Sun Tournament. Before I talk about the scene, there's also something else that happened in the second part of the Sun Tournament that will be important for later on. Cream Soda mentioned that her and Cherry Cola attended a prep school back then, specifically a swordsman prep school. In case you don't know what a prep school is, it's basically a fancier, more higher education version of a regular school. It's basically in the same category as a public school, private school, and charter school. And in case you're wondering, no, a college cannot be a prep school because the whole point of a prep school is to prepare you for college, which does kind of sound BS, like don't all schools do that? I guess not. And it's also in the same category as academy, where it's a pretty broad term that could be used to describe any education level. Except for college, because again. Now with that context in mind, let's go talk about the flashback sequence. For context, Cherry Cola Cookie said that she was going to hide somewhere and Cream Soda asked her to tell her where she is just in case she needs to find her. And she mentioned a memory where Cream Soda would often find Cherry Cola in the fountain back in their old prep school. In this flashback, Cherry Cola cries about not being able to attend the Royal Cookie Academy with Cream Soda. At first, I originally thought this was Cherry Cola transferring from the Royal Cookie Academy to a different school, but that was immediately shot down when Cream Soda mentioned that they're both attending new schools. Now pay attention to Cream Soda Cookie. This was her back in prep school, and this is her in the Royal Cookie Academy. Notice something? She didn't age not one bit! This is something that I feel like a lot of people didn't really notice. Why is this an important detail, I hear you asking? Because if Cream Soda was in middle school transferring to high school, it would be painfully obvious she aged during this point. The aging is pretty prevalent in high school, like I could easily tell when someone was a freshman. There's a visible difference between a middle schooler versus a high schooler, specifically a junior or senior. And the fact that she didn't age at all tells me something. She must be a young adult. There isn't much visible aging when you're a young adult until you're like, I don't know, like 25, since that's the age where you start deteriorating. Not to mention, swordsmanship prep school. That sounds weirdly specific. Well, there are different types of prep schools, but the prep school I suspect that Cream Soda went to was specifically a collatory prep school. And, oh, what did you look at that? A collatory prep school usually consists of students around the age of 13 to 18. And this was them parting ways, meaning they must be at least 17 to 18 years of age for them to be parting into their new schools. Also, remember how the prep school they went to was specifically a swordsman prep school? That seems like a reasonable age to be training with a sword. And this is why I strongly believe Cream Soda is a young adult. Now back to Peppercino's words. This is a clear contradiction. So does that mean Peppercino's wrong about Cream Soda's age? I will be honest, it's pretty unclear. When it comes to writing, every single dialogue matters. So why did they add this in the game? Was this meant to be direct or figurative? Was there some miscommunication in the writing department? Is this a translation error? I do not know. So how about we look at other cookies who have been in similar situations? Quinoa Cookie is in a similar situation as Cream Soda, both a student and also put into a similar situation as her, having to compete with different cookies around her age. And everyone agrees that she's an adult. From what I heard, the evidence behind it is that she was put into this situation, which, if that's the case, why isn't Cream Soda in the same boat as her? She's put in a situation where adults who are far more older than her and have way more experience than her were put into a competition. And you're telling me that she is a teenager? That doesn't make much sense. In fact, the Sun Tournament doesn't really make much sense either. How do they select their cookies? Why would they kidnap a teenager and put them in this? Doesn't that rub off the wrong way? Or how about White Ghost Cookie? A character who everyone agrees is an adult. But she's a literal high school student. Yet for some reason, Cream Soda, whose education is ambiguous, is labeled as a minor when there's things that contradict the idea of her being in a high school. Oh, was it because White Ghost Cookie was on Cotton Candy's relationship chart? If that's the case, then why are these two characters, who are also on Cotton Candy's relationship chart, are deemed as minors. And keep in mind, Strawberry Stick got a love letter. It makes no fucking sense. Also, how old is CC anyways? Genuine question. All of this is really confusing, and I don't want to believe CC is something vile. That's fucked up. Listen, I know Dev Sisters has been in a lot of controversies, but I highly doubt they would do something this disgusting. Hell, you can even say that the costume itself is evidence that Cream Soda is an adult, because I highly doubt that Dev Sisters would put a minor in this. Listen, again, I know they've been into a lot of controversies, but I don't think they would do something this vile, and no, this is not me defending their actions. A lot of things in this game don't make sense. So, what is the answer? This whole thing really does irk me, but after thinking about it, I think I realized something. And I would like to propose a theory. Just hear me out on this, because this might explain a lot of the shit in this game. When it comes to the ages of Cookie Run, there's usually 3 categories: child, adult, and young. The young one is the most confusing one because it doesn't specify the age of that character. Are they a teenager, or are they a young adult? Well, does that matter? No, I'm not saying that in the way of age is just a number. No, I'm saying that in the context of a story. Think about it. Usually in stories, the age doesn't really matter for characters who are deemed as young. A good example for this is Star Coral Cookie. We do not know what their age is. They do look young. However, it doesn't matter in the story. Star Coral Cookie goes on a dangerous journey to retrieve a light bulb, and that was it. Notice how their age didn't really apply to this. There's more examples of this. Blue Slushy Cookie. I do not remember Blue Slushy's story, but if I remember correctly, she was trying to be a guardian of some kind for a dessert paradise and the Sugar Swan. That's about it. But regardless, her age doesn't play a factor in it. Now does it? In fact, there are a lot of cookies whose ages aren't even specified. Or they're confusing. Because at the end of the day, they are young, and that's what they are. And this is why I strongly believe that Dev Sisters design young characters without a specific age in mind. Because ultimately, they just want a young protagonist or a young character that some people can relate to, whether the age is specified or not. So, what does this leave with Cream Soda Cookie? Well, all I can say is, it's up to your interpretation. Her age is pretty ambiguous, and hell, you can even say her education is pretty ambiguous. She often refers to the Royal Cookie Academy as her school, but what kind of school? Is it a high school? A college? Because a college is also a school. It's unclear, it's vague, and I feel like that's intentional. This situation isn't black and white. It's very fuzzy and confusing. Personally, I see her as a young adult, specifically around the age of 19 to 20. Mainly 20, that seems a bit more fitting. But if you see her as a minor, then that's valid too. Keep in mind, there's more factors at play than just in-game. There's factors outside of someone's life. For example, in South Korea, a high schooler would be deemed as a 17 to 19-year-old. But here in the States, it would be a 14 to 18-year-old, hell, even 19. So, for the time being, can we all agree on this? If you see Cream Soda as a minor, and yet you still have the degeneracy of sexualizing her, then you're the damn problem. But, if I have to say, if Dev Sisters have to choose between her being a minor and an adult, which one will it be? Adult, obviously. And no, it's not because I want her to be an adult. It's because if they say that Cream Soda was a minor, then that will ruin their reputation because they were considering putting a minor in this. Speaking of this, let's talk about it. When this costume was revealed, everyone immediately voiced their opinions about this. And the reception I have been seeing is that they shouldn't add this to the game. But is this anger justified, or are they just being overreactive? An argument I've seen floating around is that other cookies have the same aspects as Cream Soda Cookie's costume. Like Cheesecake Cookie, she wears fishnets, yet no one has a problem with it. Or how about Carol Cookie? She has her shoulders showing. Hell, some of the male characters are showing cleavage or just not wearing a shirt at all. For fuck's sake, Crush Pepper has a moob window. Hell, Candy Drop is showing her back, yet no one has a problem with it. Another thing I should also mention was the Toa livestream that happened on Wednesday with Micmac. Also, can I say I was legit worried for Micmac? Given how angered the community can be from time to time, I was worried we're gonna have another Rose situation on our hands. But thankfully, Micmac was able to handle it like a champ, and everyone else was being mostly civil about it. Mostly. Anyways, in this livestream, Micmac clarified some things about the costume when it was first designed. It was meant to be a magical girl outfit, which actually explains the magician part, and he did explain the quote-unquote fishnets by saying they were ballerina shoes. And that was it from what I can remember. I think the bunny part came from the fact that magicians often use rabbits in their acts, like the classic pulling a rabbit out of a top hat. So, are people overreacting? No, because there's one element of the design that really makes it bad. The collar around her neck and these cuffs. These wouldn't be a problem, but they're not connected to any sorts of fabric. I have never seen any other Cookie Run character wear these things, and understandably there's a good reason why. These type of things are often used in Playboy bunny suits. And in case you don't know, those things are sexually charged as fuck. Without the tutu, this would have been easily interpreted as a Playboy bunny outfit. And it's a big yikes when the majority of the Cookie Run fanbase does consist of minors. Listen, you can be into anything. Hell, if Cream Soda wants to explore her sexuality, then so be it. But do it in fucking private! This goes for everyone! I've seen a lot of people try to defend this, which, yeah, I can understand why. There are some elements of the design that can work, but combine these fucking cuffs and the collar together, it makes it look like a Playboy bunny outfit. Just take off the damn tutu and bam! Heck, someone in the Toa Discord server pointed out that Cinnamon Cookie has a costume called Bunny Boy. And this is what it looks like! It doesn't really look like a Playboy bunny outfit now, does it? So yeah, I can understand why a lot of people are very upset with Cream Soda's costume. I am too. And I really do hope that the designer team realizes that this is the damn problem. So, as I was making this video, apparently they dropped the update video, and apparently Cream Soda has 2 costumes now. As if she needed another one. And her new costume looks really amazing, definitely better. But one thing that I'm surprised no one really pointed out is the fact that her shoulders are showing. Given that the bunny outfit had her shoulders showing, I was surprised that no one really complained about it. Although there is nothing wrong with shoulders showing, but I'm surprised it happened twice. Maybe this is a sign. And also, we get to see where the costume is found, because it's not in the gacha, rather the guild shop. Although a lot of people complain that nothing has changed, I do believe it's that they didn't have enough time to fix it and the official artwork was already done by then. It would probably take them a while to, redesign it, because there's a whole process to designing a character and even a costume, so... Whether or not you interpret Cream Soda as a minor or an adult, we can all agree on this. This costume shouldn't be in the game. I really do hope Dev Sisters is able to redesign the costume, and I hope they learn from this situation. Genuinely, them not specifying the ages of their characters really does mess things up and also cause more divide in our community, and we do not need that. And if I remember correctly from the livestream, they're gonna see what they can do about the costume, so at least they hear our voices. Anyways, I'm getting back to my Q&A video. Goddamn, this situation really took a lot out of me.